they were looking at the phenomenon, which definitely exists.
Yeah.
Don't think, viewers, that I don't think it exists. I'm a really big person that says UAP are real.
Mm.
People see things all over the world, not just in Rendlesham, not just in Area
Totally.
51. They see them in every country of the world because they exist and they're real. What are they? Um, it's really hard because they're really hard to study. Yeah, but
Yeah.
UAP exist.
Yeah. No, no, I think so too. And what about uh, you say there is proof, uh,
Right.
seen proof. Is that going to be released to the public ever or?
Well, that's the story, Mark. I mean, both SETI and Breakthrough Listen and are for some reason not. I mean, they've gone really quiet about it.
Mm.
I mean, the story that I was told that BLC1, which stands for Breakthrough Listen Candidate One being a SETI candidate that was a known radio source, was covered up by Breakthrough Listen, in my opinion. The chances are that their explanation that it was man-made technology. Can I tell you what they're saying and why it's
Please do.
here's the explanation. Oh, good. I can use my green blobby thing. If you could, oh no, here it is. Yeah. So I'm just charging my bicycle lights. So here's Alpha Centauri and here's Parkes Radio Telescope in Australia.
Mhm.
And Parkes, oh, I'm really backwards because it's a camera. Parkes is looking at a source, and when they point away from it, it goes, and
Mhm.
when they point to it, it's there. When they point the other way, it goes. So it's a single point
Mhm.
source,
Mhm.
right? And it's a narrowband frequency not used by man. It's
Uh-huh.
electromagnetic.
Sure.
And there's another piece of evidence, which is the clincher I'll go on to. What Breakthrough Listener are saying is that it's a satellite
Mhm.
that is in lockstep with Alpha Centauri
Mhm.
that matches its transit through the sky.
Mhm.
Oh, that's pretty good. It's
Yeah.
obviously not, it's obviously geostationary but moving. How does that work? And it's using frequencies that is are man-made, but not the frequencies that people use in satellites. Really?
Yeah.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
And then they published the report, and then Parkes came back after the report. I believe this is slightly ambiguous, and said not only is it a man-made satellite using frequencies that humans don't use, that's in lockstep with our telescope,
Mm.
like crazy, but
Mm.
it's also Doppler shifting, means it's
Yeah.
orbiting. Well, no, this Occam's razor. I mean, is it a man-made satellite? Is there one? No. Is it transmitting in those frequencies? Do satellites transmit in those frequencies? No. Is it rotating just the same speed as the exoplanet in that star system? No. So is it more likely to be that planet? Yes. I mean, so why are they covering it up? And why are they only, and I've only got that evidence from BLC Candidate 1, BL Candidate 1. There's at least 15 other really good technological sources. The
Mm.
head of Breakthrough Listen isn't only just looking for technology, he's also looking for biosignatures. He's looking for all kinds of signatures.
Mm.
And I think the other enormous evidence is that we have tools in 2024, 2025 to actually find that we're not alone in the universe. I mean, a Cambridge group have done a spectral analysis of a different, not the same, a different exoplanet, and
Mhm.
they found signs of what is obviously biological life in the atmosphere. And is that published and saying, I think we have confirmation we're not alone in the universe? No. Is other technological signatures supposedly that have probably been found are lights, or shiny stuff that causes because we have the tools. James Webb is amazing,
Mhm.
but
Mhm.
also the radio telescopes are now no longer one telescope. They're all networked.
That's right.
Company in Holland called Astron networks every telescope in the world that is part of their group,
Mm.
and they do AI analysis of broadband multi-frequency, looking for and it's paid for by Breakthrough Listen partially and the European Union through the Horizon Project. I mean, we have the evidence. Why aren't they telling us?
Oh yeah.
And
Why? Have you got
why?
any
Mm.
theories why?
Yeah, well, so the original story broke from some a senior person in EU radio astronomy who
Mm,
wants to remain nameless, and he told me about Astra, and then he told me about the BLC-1 signal, how it's found,
mm,
and then when the shit hit the fan, and everybody. Sabine Horsfelder and John Goodyear all called me a effing idiot, and
mm,
it doesn't exist. And you should read the Breakthrough Listen fake paper. Sorry,
yeah,
Breakthrough Listen. Or this is I went back to my man and said, "What's going on? I'm looking like a complete twat."
yeah,
And he said, "No, you're not. What's going on is that there is a governments have been informed.
mhm,
The UK government, the Department of Trade and Industry, wrote a report, The Exploitation of Extraterrestrials. They wrote that for the
right,
Keir Starmer government.
mm,
The Vatican published a protocol for bishops,
mm,
but the public haven't been informed because, and this is really interesting, I didn't know this, but SETI,
mm,
and I'm surprised that Breakthrough Listener are going along with this, but it kind of makes sense.
mm,
This guy told me the problem is if you come out as SETI and say, we think we've got very good evidence that
mm,
we found a biological or technological signature of an alien race, the news of the world, the Daily Mail,
yeah,
Fox News, and News Nation will immediately say, what do they look like? Well,
yeah,
we didn't,
yeah,
what are they saying? Well, those two are enormous leaps from
right,
detecting
yeah,
possibly, maybe, that there's evidence way out there that we can just barely detect to what color are their socks? I mean, so he said they don't want to publish it until they're at least two steps ahead of the obvious effing questions. And
right,
that's what they're doing right now.
okay,
They're gathering as much evidence as they can and are waiting. Maybe there's some unseen hand of advice saying,
oh yeah.
not great timing.
Who would that ultimate hand be? Who would that be?
I have no idea because who would have that?
Would
Because
we do-
SETI seemed quite independent. Breakthrough Listener, basically Yuri Milner's self-funded research group.
Yeah,
Breakthrough does lots of other things, and the other people who probably have the evidence are China
yeah,
and Russia, who
yeah,
are very big on radio telescopes. And I can't. It would be really sad if SETI and Breakthrough Listen get pipped to the post by China, which they might. The China big dish can do the radio telescope stuff that SETI can do.
mm,
That it's big. It's bigger than. I mean, it was bigger than Arecibo type dish, and it's as good as Green Bank.
mm,
It's probably not as good as there's a brilliant new telescope being built in Australia called the Square Kilometre Array, which is the real source of data
wow.
that is linked to Holland, to Astron. I mean,
Oh,
they are taking so much data from that, and a new one in South Africa that nobody knows about. It's great, fantastic
mm.
work.
So basically, we could be, if they get their act together and get
If
to
they
say
want to,
if
yeah.
they want to, they could release the truth about it fairly soon.
I don't think it's going to be such a shock to humans. I think
No,
I think people
no,
will go out tomorrow and buy a loaf of bread and a pint of milk. I mean, I don't. I think it's good. I think it might change the way that we think about ourselves. But
mm,
I would release the data as soon as possible. I'd be quite happy if they say, look, we've got really quite
mm,
good, but
mm,
it's obviously open for interpretation, evidence that there's life of some kind,
mm.
but not as we know it, Jim, on
Yeah,
this exoplanet.
yeah,
It's not technological. It's just evidence of a living organism
yeah,
or a plant, a bug, whatever. I think that
yeah.
would be great.
Of course it would. Yeah, that'd be the first step. Absolutely.
It's more likely. I mean, if you look at planet Earth, every single creature on planet Earth, including creatures much older than humans like cephalopods, squid and octopus, they don't drive Teslas, do they? I mean, that's the point. It's only humans who are technological. We're the meddling humans. My
Yeah.
goats are very happy to
Mm.
have somewhere to sleep, something to eat, and are safe. That's what they want. They don't want to produce the I Love Lucy show.
I mean, that's a different question altogether, and why are humans so different from every other life form? But yeah,
Right. Right. And
That's
so
another.
the chances are aliens will be very happy on their planet. They won't know anything about us. We might detect them, but
Yeah.
there's no way that they're flying here in spaceships.
Mm,
It's very unlikely. There might be a few, but they're going to be really rare. I think most civilizations out there are going to be weird life forms.
mm.
Very weird, I hope.